Hello and welcome to the Beginners Tatting video series. Today I want to go over a couple of things that came up in class yesterday that seems to be consecutively a confusion. Okay, it is 3 terms that you're going to run into in tatting, and Georgia Seats took the time to put this out on paper for our classes, which I love her to death. She does wonderful work. But what I chose to do is take it one step further for the intense visual learners, and I'm going to use her diagrams in 3D. Okay, so the terms that we're talking about is reverse work, turn work, and rotate. Okay, now I'm going to put a link at the bottom of the video for this. Print it out so that you can follow along and you can correlate the 3D image with the printed out image so that you can wrap your head around it. I know that with some visual learners, the hard part's taking it from a piece of paper and processing it in the brain. I have difficulty with that on a lot of things, and I don't know if it's age or intelligence that causes that, but either way, I'm just sunk sometimes. So to help those people out that are like me, we're going to do this in 3D. The first thing we're going to learn is reverse work. Now, I have tatted this piece. It's identical to the diagrams that are on the sheet that Georgia provided. And these are our rings and these are our chains. Okay, the pattern's 3 picot 3, picot 3, picot 3 on the rings, and the chains are 3 picot 3. Very simple pattern. Okay, now to reverse our work, her terminology says top becomes bottom and bottom becomes top. Okay, what that means is take your work and flip it over. All of a sudden your rings that were on top are on the bottom, your chains that were on the bottom are on the top. And I'm going to take it one step further and tell you that the front will become the back. Okay, so that is reverse work, and this is the one that is most commonly used. Okay, every time you go from a ring to a chain and back to a ring, you're going to reverse your work. Okay, so remember that you're going to reverse the work. So that is reverse. We're just taking it and reversing the direction of everything. And we're not reversing it any other way with the reverse work. We're just flipping it over. Okay, like them little Rolodexes, flip it over. Okay, the next one is turn your work. Now the way to remember turn your work is, okay, I want to look at a book. We're going to turn our work. Got that? We're looking at a book. Hold the strings together where the shuttle and the ball thread is and turn it. Turn your work. That is how you do it. And when you use these techniques, the reverse work, the turn your work, it changes the direction of the flow. Remember that. Whatever you do, it's going to change the direction of the flow. And as you get more into tatting, you will understand what I mean by direction of the flow. You're tatting normally when you're tatting, okay, your tatting's moving this way, to the right, always moving to the right. But if you had a chain that you wanted to change directions, then the directions would tell you which way to turn your work, okay, or rotate your work, or reverse your work to get the direction you need on the next element. Okay, so we've got reverse our work is just flip it over. The top becomes the bottom becomes the top. Turn our work, we're turning the pages of a book. Now to remember that, grab a book till you learn it. This is one of Jan's books. Just take it and remember, I'm turning pages in my book. Okay, that's how you remember. Turn your work. I'm reading a book. Okay, These are simple ways to remember, and it's ways that I use. You may come up with ways that are simple to you. Do so, okay? But remember, turn. I'm reading a book. I'm turning the page. Now, the hardest one, but yet the easiest one, is rotate, okay? Everybody wears watches, okay? So you have a clock on your arm. This is a clock face that I have from my steampunk supplies. And if you take your clock face, if you got your watch on your wrist, look at your watch. You're going to rotate your work 1/4 turn. Okay? You're going to rotate the whole piece 1/4 turn. Remember, 12, 3, 6, and 9. 1/4 hour is what you're turning. Okay? Now that is rotate your work. Do you understand that you're rotating it according to the hands of the clock by 1/4 hour? Turn your work, you're reading a book. Reverse your work, up and down. This one would be more like a light switch. You're turning it off, turning it on, turning it off, turning it on. You see? So, remember the light switch on the wall goes up and down? That's reverse your work. Okay, so that gives you real life things that you do to remember the 3 hardest things to remember in tatting. And if you wrap your brain around, okay, to do this, I'm turning the lights off and on. Okay? Or I'm going to read a book, or I'm going to tell time, you'll remember the steps. Okay? Now, I'm going to hit a high point here. It was brought up in class yesterday, and it is, what is the difference between regular tatting and front side, back side? Do we have a real front and a real back in tatting? Those are 2 questions, and I'm going to answer both of those today. All right? Let me zoom in on this piece, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Because I have tatted this piece in both the regular way as well as front side, back side. And I'm going to show you the difference. Now, you're new to the game, okay? I'm trying to get a good shot of this so that you can see. Move that clock face out of the way. And try to get it to where you've got a good shot. Let's see if we can't zoom in on that just a hair more, so that I can show you what I'm talking about. Come out. Give me a second to get it. Ah, isn't that gorgeous? All right. Front side, back side. Okay. This end down here, where we started, is regular tatting. This type of tatting has been done for hundreds of years. Way back in the day when tatting was, I guess, first discovered or not. I'm not sure. Nobody really knows when tatting was discovered. But way back in the day, this was the only way they did tatting. There was one way and one way only. And if you'll look on your picos, okay, you're going to see there's a difference. Okay? Now, let me fix this so we have a front and a back. Now, if I was tatting this piece, these tails coming out right here, let me get it in shot, would be where I'd be carrying on with the tatted piece. Okay, back here is the regular way. And if you look at the picos on here, you will see we have what they call the waistband of pants. Okay, on both sides of that picot. Yet when we get down here, okay, to our chain, there is no picots on, there's no waistbands on this picot on either side. Yet we do have it on the rings. Okay, so you have one that looks unfinished and you'll have one that looks finished. That is the regular way to tat. And this is the way you're taught to tat from the very beginning. Every teacher teaches the same way. I don't care where you go. They're all going to teach you to tat the old way. Now, down here, we have the new way to tat. Now, let's see if we can get this in a better shot. Right there. Okay. So that you can see. And we have side-by-side comparison. Now, you see you have pant loops. I call them pant loops, but they're supposed to be waistbands. Pant loops is easier for me to remember. There comes a time in your life that things are just simpler if you do them the wrong way, and I do them the wrong way. But getting on with it, I want to show you this. Alright, you see we have pant loops on our picots, waistbands, whatever you want to call it. Then when you get down here at the chain, we also do. We've got our little loops around our picots. These two chains here are done front side, back side. Okay? Now this one is not. There's your side by side comparison. This one looks finished. This one looks incomplete. Okay? Your rings will all have pant loops on the front side. Rings always have pant loops on the front side. Chains is where it changes. Remember, changes. Okay? If you want to do front side, back side, the difference is whatever is on the front on the regular tatting, it's the opposite on the back. So, on the front, you have your pant loops on your picots on your rings and none on your chains. Well, on the back, you don't have them on your rings, but you do have them on your chains. Okay? With front side, back side, the picots on the rings and the chains are left bare. There's no pant loops on either one. Okay? So that gives you a definitive back, an unfinished back, as just like with crochet. Okay? And knitting. And then you have a definitive front that is all completed and everything's facing forward. There is no set way. You don't have to do it this way, and you don't have to do it that way. It's your preference. Some tatters just don't like the way it looks front side, back side, so they stick to the old way. Some are just, I'm going to do it the old way. Some are say that I want to do it the new way. Okay? It's your choice. It's not what you have to do. But you learn this way until you get your muscle memory intact. Okay? Because tatting, 90% of it is muscle memory. Once you get your muscle memory down, don't pick up a crochet hook, because I'm standing there going, okay, now what do I do? Okay? So you get your muscle memory back, and if you switch to another craft, it's kind of hard to get your head going in the right direction, but eventually you do. You don't have to give up the other craft. Okay? But remember, there is no set way to do this. And what a lot of tatters do that use the old way, what they'll do is they'll take a pant loop near the picot, okay, one of these little pant loops, and run a little thin thread through it to mark the front of the piece, okay? Because when you lay it down, then your mind goes, okay, which way was I going? Remember, your tatting's always going to the right. Always, always, always going to the right. Never do you go backwards. You go to the right. You're always working away from yourself. Okay? So, but to help, take you a picot and, right here, grab a pant loop, put your piece of thread through there. You can use those little floss threaders. In case you don't know what a floss threader is, let me get one out here. Okay? This is what they look like. They're called gum floss threaders. They come in a little box like this, and pull them out. That's what the kids use that have braces, to run floss through their braces. And what you can do is take it and run it up underneath one of those loops, okay, like so. May take a little bit, but I'm working with crochet cotton. It is not like tatting thread. Run it up underneath that pant loop, put your thread in here, pull it through. And just a little snippet of thread to mark the front and the back. Okay? That's an easy way to remember if you will choose that that's the way you like to do it. Okay? So there are many, many ways to do things in tatting. Just remember, open your mind to new experiences. Remember to try new things. And if it doesn't work, it's not the wrong way. There's never a wrong way in tatting. Only a right way. So I hope this clarifies. Let's brush this up one more time. Reverse work. We're turning the lights off and on. Turn the work. We're reading a book. Rotate. We're looking at our watch. Okay? And it's 1/4 turn to the right. Okay? I do not know if it'll have directions that says 1/4 turn to the left. I don't understand why they would put that direction in there, but it's not out of the realm of possibility that it's not out there. Okay, I have not personally seen it. I don't know. I have not heard of anyone mention it that has seen it, but it doesn't mean it's not out there. We're still discovering new things about tatting even this long. So I hope that clarifies and helps you to understand better what you're doing and how to do it. Now, for needle tatters, it's the same terminology. This is a needle tatted piece that I was working on. Here's the deal. Same size thread. Okay? The difference is this one's done on a needle. This one's done with a shuttle. The reason this looks bigger, and if you hold it up, you'll see it looks a little bit bigger. There is no difference. Okay, you can use a smaller needle if you can get the thread through it. Okay, and come up with a piece that's same size. I'm using the needle that goes with the thread. And you have to have room to pull your thread through and the needle through. That's why needle tatting looks floppy and loose. Okay? That's the only difference. There's no wrong way. There are people that have arthritis so bad in their hands that all they can do is needle tatting. Okay? So, remember, the pattern doesn't matter if you're using a needle or a shuttle. They're all written with the same directions. You may have to modify for a needle because most patterns are written for a shuttle because there's more shuttle tatters than needle tatters. Sorry to say, but it's wise, whatever tool you choose, to learn all you can about it. Okay? And learn these terminologies because they can be incorporated. I do know that needle tatters, when you go to tie off your knot, you're turning your work. You're not reversing your work, you're turning it. So see, in a needle tatting pattern, it'll say turn your work, not reverse your work. You'll get some needle tatters. Katie, her videos, she says reverse your work. It's because she's like the rest of us tatters. We need a set in stone terminology like crochet and knitting. And there's not one. We're working on it. So hopefully in the near future, we'll get one. But like I say, you'll see turn your work and reverse your work. And reverse your work is more frequent than turn your work. And needle tatters turn their work to tie their knot. Okay? So now that that's been explained, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me and ask. I'll be more than happy to answer them. If I don't know the answer, I will get you the answer. Again, the paper printout, the link to it will be at the bottom of the video. It's done through Georgia Seats classes, the beginner's tatting classes. There's a link for that as well. Okay? And just because you come in at the tail end of the classes, don't leave. You'll learn something. I have been in those classes for over 3 years. And I don't care how many times I've been in there, I learned something new myself. Every single class, something comes up. So, even the old timers that's been doing it 40, 50 years, they learn something new. So don't leave. Stay for the class even though you're confused and you don't understand. Stay for the class. You will understand because we will answer your questions. So until next time, I hope you have a great day and happy tatting. Thank you.